planks. I am using these planks from the palette DIYs that I was doing a couple of weeks ago. You'll need some playing cards, of course, some sandpaper, double-sided tape, nails, and a hammer. So start by sanding the wood planks to make sure they are super smooth. This is Nick helping me out. Sand away. So that's what happened. That's what I ended up with. And then arrange your planks the way you would want them to appear. So I did the middle one was like had the most patterns in it, so I wanted it to be right in the center. So just move them around until you're satisfied with the look. And then I wanted to offset them a bit, so first I'm going to turn them over because I have to attach some wooden planks to the back. That way all of them will be attached and they'll become one piece. And then, so this is me offsetting them because I wanted to just create a pattern, and it's because they were not exactly the same length and I didn't want to have to reduce them in size. So these two planks are going to hold everything together, so I'm going to nail these two planks to the rest of them. If you have longer nails, just do this at an angle, that way the nail does not go all the way through to the other side and then you end up seeing it or it starts pricking you. So just do this at an angle and then just do that until all the planks have been nailed to these two that are holding them back. So this is the support system of this entire thing, so you had better do it right. If you don't, everything's gonna fall apart and you do not want that to happen. So just hammer away, or get someone to do it for you if you don't know how to do this. So after that I flipped it over, and that's Nick's head, and then I measured to find the centerpiece. So this is a bit harder than you'd think because the planks are offset, so they don't have a perfect straight line, especially width-wise. Then I drew a perfect circle. To do a perfect circle, you can use a measuring tape like I did. So I just pin it to the center, and then there's a hole at the end, so just put your pen in the hole and then just draw around. This is the best way to do it. So first determine what your radius is and then just do that. Then after that I decided to lay down some cards. I used the cards that are just other cards, not the ones that I was actually going to use at the end, in case I ended up spoiling anything. So just lay them out until you confirm they are okay or they fit perfectly or to your desire. As you can tell, there's two circles because I decided to do a second circle. I increased my radius just a bit, and then just lay them. Once you're satisfied with the way they look, drill a hole through the center. So with my clock bit, I couldn't use this hole the way I wanted to, so I ended up placing it on top, but then I tied twine and then pulled it through this hole and then tied it at the back, that way the clock doesn't fall, because using double-sided tape the clock actually fell. Then we decided to stain the wood with some mahogany stain. So just stain it because this just gives it a really beautiful look, and we didn't just want it to look very pale, as you can tell. So we just stained it. As you can tell, Nick is helping me over there. So stain away. To stain, of course, like I ran out of gloves, so we wore some paper bags, and then we're just using a piece of cloth. So just dip it and then just do that in, stain it in circular motions, and don't forget the sides because, well, they'll be seen as well. We didn't stain the back because it was just going to be on the wall. So stain away until you are satisfied. You can make it lighter or as dark as you want, but for me this really works well. I liked the way it looked, and the mahogany stain I'm using was left over from a previous project. So I took the king. I decided to go with the spades. They are my favorites in the deck of cards. That's my favorite. So we wanted to use an entire set. So we put the king right in the middle. And since we're going to use this clock tiny thing, it's like the machine that operates the clock. So we decided to put the king in there. And then I returned the hands of the clock So make sure when you return the hands of the clock, you put in your battery to confirm that they're working before you actually place it down, because you don't want to have to do this and then your clock isn't working. Like, you get me? So at first I used double-sided tape, but as I mentioned earlier, I ended up using twine, and that worked a lot better. At this point I turned over my plank and I put some hanging rope. So I just used sisal rope. I used the nails to the side, and then I pinned them down. So I would put a nail and then just cross it over to make sure it lays flat. It's bit so that like the top coat of the nail and the end up forming like a curve over the rope itself. Then I did the same at the top with two nails. This is just to make sure it's centered and it doesn't lean weirdly, because sometimes that happens. So I just tighten that down. So that's how I do it. Then from here I decided to lay down the cards. I use double-sided tape for this as well, but before you tape them to the wood, just lay them out to confirm the placing of each card, and then now peel off the tape and just push it down. You don't feel the need to push it completely down to apply too much pressure at first, because you might want to move them around. So just add the pressure completely once you are satisfied with every card's position. Then there you go, add your centerpiece. This is now the clock. Technically that's the clock, like everything else is just shenanigans and randomness. The clock is just that bit that's the center. And then set your time and hang it up. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, because if you would want more DIYs, please do make a point of telling me. And I'll be doing DIYs every Monday, and you can watch out for my vlogs on Thursdays. Bye.